The most dangerous man in any room is the one who doesn't need to prove it. He doesn't raise his voice, he doesn't fight for attention, he doesn't explain himself or chase validation. He simply exists. And somehow, everyone orbits around him. You've seen this man. In business, in social settings, in history. And you've wondered what he has that you don't. It's not looks, it's not money, it's not even confidence. It's something darker, something you can't fake with affirmations or body language tricks. It's silent charisma, the kind that bends rooms without effort, the kind that makes people trust you, fear you, and follow you, all without you saying a word. This is how dangerous men influence reality itself. And once you understand the mechanics behind it, you'll never view social power the same way again. What you're about to learn exists in the gap between what people say about influence and how it actually works. Books lie. Gurus lie. They sell you charisma as performance. Smile bigger, talk louder, be more energetic. That's not charisma. That's desperation with better marketing. Real charisma is silent, surgical, almost invisible. And it's wielded by men who understand that power is never loudest in the room, it's quietest. You're here because you already sense this truth. You're ready to learn what they don't teach. Comment below. Silence is power. Not as motivation, as acknowledgement that you understand the language of the truly dangerous.
Principle 1. Gravitational presence. True charisma isn't what you project, it's what you make others feel in your absence of projection. Think of gravity. It doesn't announce itself, it doesn't perform, it simply exists and everything around it responds. This is the essence of silent influence. You become a force field, not a performance. Machiavelli understood that the prince who constantly proves his power has already lost it. Power that needs validation is power that's been questioned. The truly powerful simply are, and reality bends accordingly. Watch the most influential men in any space. They're not the loudest. They're the ones everyone glances at before speaking. The ones whose silence carries more weight than others' words. The ones who can change the energy of a room by simply entering it. This isn't mystical, it's psychological. When you stop seeking attention, attention seeks you. When you stop filling space with noise, your presence becomes the most noticeable thing in the room. Here's your application. Enter spaces with complete internal stillness. No agenda to prove, no need to be noticed, just pure, grounded presence. Watch what happens. People will start orienting toward you without knowing why. The warning is, this makes insecure people deeply uncomfortable. They'll try to provoke you into breaking your silence. Don't. Their discomfort is proof it's working. Principle 2. Economic expression. Dangerous charisma is measured by what you don't say. Most people vomit words. They over-explain, overshare, over-justify. Every sentence dilutes their power. Every explanation weakens their position. Every word is a leak in their mystique. The most charismatic men in history were masters of compression. Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, 276 words. Kennedy's most famous line, 9 words. Ask not what your country can do for you. Less is never less. Less is more. Less is everything. When you speak rarely, your words become events. People lean in. They remember. They repeat what you said because scarcity creates value. Machiavelli knew this. The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. But here's the twist. Intelligent rulers don't need to demonstrate intelligence constantly. They let silence do the talking. Apply it like this. Cut your word count in half. In every conversation, say half of what you want to say. Let others fill the space. Watch how much more weight your words carry when they're rare. Real-world example. Steve Jobs in meetings. He'd sit silent for long stretches while others debated. Then he'd speak one sentence and the entire direction would shift. Not because his idea was always best, but because his silence made his words feel like verdicts.
Principle 3. Calculated stillness. In a world of constant motion, stillness is violence. Everyone's performing, fidgeting, adjusting, seeking comfort, reacting to every stimulus. Their bodies leak their internal chaos. Dangerous men are physically still, not stiff, still. There's a difference. Stiffness is tension, stillness is control. When you can sit through discomfort, silence, or social pressure without physical reaction, you communicate something primal. Nothing moves me. And at a subconscious level, people register this as power. Think about apex predators. They don't pace, they don't fidget, they conserve energy and move with purpose. Prey animals are constantly in motion, nervous, reactive, survival mode. Which one are you broadcasting? Machiavelli wrote about the importance of appearing calm during a crisis, not feeling calm, appearing calm, because perception shapes reality. When you remain physically still while others panic, you become the anchor. Leadership isn't chosen, it's defaulted to whoever seems most in control. Application. Practice physical stillness in uncomfortable situations, meetings, confrontations, first dates, negotiations. Don't fidget, don't adjust yourself, don't break eye contact first. Hold your position. Watch what this does to power dynamics. People will unconsciously defer to you because stillness signals certainty and humans follow certainty. Warning, this can trigger aggression in alpha posturing types. They'll try to make you react. If you don't, you've already won. If you do, you've revealed the stillness was performance, not mastery. Principle 4, the void technique. Charismatic men create conversational voids that others rush to fill. Most people fear silence. They panic when conversation stops and immediately fill the gap with anything: nervous laughter, pointless questions, rambling stories. This desperation to avoid silence is a tell. It reveals insecurity. Dangerous men use silence as a weapon. They'll ask a question and then say nothing. They'll make a statement and let it hang. They create uncomfortable pauses and watch who breaks first. Whoever breaks the silence loses status in that moment. Not always, but usually, because the break reveals they couldn't handle the pressure. This is negotiation 101. The first person to speak after a price is named usually loses, but it extends everywhere: job interviews, dates, confrontations, sales. Silence creates psychological pressure, and most people crack under it. Machiavelli understood that power often lies in what you withhold: information, emotion, response. The void you create forces others to show their hand while yours remains hidden. Here's how you weaponize this. After asking a question, stop talking completely. Don't rephrase it, don't soften it, don't fill the space. Let the silence grow heavy and watch them scramble to fill it, revealing far more than they intended. In conflict, make your point and then go silent. Don't argue, don't justify, state and stop. The silence makes your statement feel final, like a judge's ruling. The twist is, some people will call you awkward or weird. Let them. While they're uncomfortable, you are collecting information from their discomfort.
Principle 5, selective warmth. The most dangerous form of charisma is warmth that's earned, not given. Most people spray their energy everywhere. They're friendly to everyone, approachable, available. This makes them forgettable. When everyone gets your warmth has no value. Charismatic men are cold by default and warm by exception. They maintain distance as the standard operating mode, then deploy warmth strategically. And when they do, it feels like sunlight breaking through clouds. This creates addiction because humans don't value what's freely given. They value what's scarce. When your approval is rare, people will compete for it. Think about the most magnetic people you know. They're not universally warm, they're selectively warm. And that selectivity makes their warmth feel like an achievement. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But the real mastery is being feared by most and loved by the chosen few. That combination is unstoppable." Application. Default to neutral or cool, not rude, just not warm. Then, when someone proves themselves valuable, competent, or loyal, let them see warmth. Make it feel like they've unlocked a hidden level. This works in leadership, friendship, dating, business. Your attention becomes a reward. Your approval becomes currency. Your warmth becomes a strategic asset instead of a leaked resource. The danger is becoming genuinely cold. The warmth has to be real when you show it, just rare. If people sense it's all manipulation, the technique backfires. You'll be seen as calculating rather than selective. Know the difference. Principle 6. Non-reactive dominance. Charisma without words is mastered through emotional non-reaction. Someone insults you, someone challenges you, someone tries to provoke you, and you, nothing. No anger, no defense, no visible emotion, just calm acknowledgement and continuation. This breaks people's brains because the script says you should react. When you don't, they don't know what to do with you. And confusion in others is control for you. Machiavelli knew that rulers must not be swayed by temporary emotions. The moment you react emotionally, you've given away your internal state. You've shown what moves you, and now they know exactly how to move you again. Dangerous men seem immune to the provocations that control everyone else, not because they don't feel, they do, but they've built the space between stimulus and response. In that space lives freedom. Watch high-level negotiators, world leaders, master manipulators. When attacked, they don't defend. They pause, consider, and respond from a place of choice, not reaction. This communicates, you can't touch me. Apply it. The next time someone tries to get a rise out of you, give them nothing, not cold shoulder, just calm acknowledgement. I hear you, with no emotion attached. Watch them escalate because the reaction they wanted didn't come. In professional settings, when criticized, don't defend, don't justify, just nod and say, noted. The lack of reaction makes your position seem unshakable. Real-world example, Mike Tyson in press conferences. Reporters would try to rattle him. He'd just stare. That stare did more than any comeback ever could. The warning. Some people will escalate to violence when they can't get an emotional reaction. Know when non-reaction is power and when it's danger. Context matters.
Principle 7. Controlled mystery. The charismatic man is a puzzle people want to solve but never can. Everyone else is an open book. They share everything, their opinions, their plans, their feelings, their past. They think transparency builds trust. It doesn't. It builds familiarity, and familiarity breeds contempt. Mystery builds fascination. When people can't fully figure you out, they stay engaged. They fill in the blanks with projections, usually flattering ones. They create their own narrative about who you are, and that narrative is often better than reality. Machiavelli advised that princes should reveal only what serves them and conceal everything else. Not through lies, but through selective disclosure. You're not hiding, you're curating. The most charismatic men give you pieces, never the whole picture. They share stories, but never the full story. They reveal aspects, but never the complete self. You always feel like there's more beneath the surface. This isn't manipulation, it's preservation. Because once people fully know you, the magic dies. The mystery is the magic. Application. Stop volunteering information. Answer questions without over-explaining. Share experiences without revealing your entire history. Let people wonder about your past, your thoughts, your intentions. In conversations, redirect. When asked personal questions, give a partial answer and ask them something. Control what they know while learning everything about them. The danger is seeming secretive or dishonest. There's a fine line between mysterious and sketchy. Mystery should feel intriguing, not suspicious. You're not lying. You're just not telling them everything. And that's your right. Principle 8. Spatial dominance. Dangerous charisma is communicated through how you occupy space. Most men make themselves smaller. They slouch, they tuck their limbs, they apologize with their bodies for existing. This is submission language, and everyone reads it subconsciously. Charismatic men expand, not obnoxiously, naturally. They take up space as if they own it, because in their minds, they do.
This isn't about man-spreading or being inconsiderate. It's about refusing to shrink yourself. When you sit, you settle in. When you stand, you plant. When you walk, you move with direction, not apology. Watch how powerful people move through space. They don't dart, they don't dodge, they don't make themselves small to let others pass. They move with assumption of right of way, and others naturally move for them. Machiavelli understood territorial psychology. The ruler who acts like he owns the territory is perceived as owning it. Perception becomes reality. Application. When you enter a room, don't tiptoe. Walk in like you're expected. When you sit, spread out comfortably. When you stand, claim your square footage. Take up space with confidence, not aggression. Practice walking slower. Rushed movement communicates anxiety. Slow, deliberate movement communicates control. The warning here is that insecure men will see your spatial dominance as a challenge. In certain environments, this can trigger confrontation. Calibrate to context, but never shrink yourself as a default.
Principle 9. The observer position. Silent charisma comes from watching more than participating. Most people are performers. They need to be in the action, leading conversations, telling stories, being seen. This desperation to participate actually lowers their status. Dangerous men observe. They watch the room like predators watching prey, not obviously, subtly. They're aware of every dynamic, every power play, every unspoken tension, and this awareness gives them informational advantage. When you're observing, instead of performing, you see things others miss. You notice who defers to whom, who's faking confidence, who's actually in control. This intelligence is power. Machiavelli wrote extensively about the importance of observation. The wise ruler studies human nature by watching, not by trusting what people say. Actions reveal truth. Observation reveals actions. The most charismatic people in social settings often aren't at the center. They're at the edge, watching the center. And somehow, people are aware of them watching. That awareness creates gravity. Apply it. In group settings, participate less. Observe more. Watch interactions like you're studying a game. Notice patterns. When you do speak, your observations will be sharper because you've been paying attention instead of waiting for your turn to talk. This also makes you dangerous in negotiations and conflicts. You see their tells, their weaknesses, their patterns. They don't see yours because you're not giving them anything to see. The twist? People will sometimes interpret observation as judgment. Good. Let them wonder what you're thinking. That uncertainty gives you leverage. Principle 10. Outcome independence. The final level of silent charisma is genuinely not needing the influence to work. This is the paradox. The moment you need your charisma to produce a result, it weakens. The moment you're fine with or without the outcome, it strengthens. Desperation is repellent on a biological level. Humans can smell it. Neediness, try-hard energy, outcome dependence, all of it broadcasts weakness. Dangerous men influence without attachment to whether the influence works. They make their move and then release. If it works, good. If it doesn't, also good. This detachment is intoxicating to witness. Think about it. The salesman who doesn't care if you buy is more compelling than the one who needs the commission. The man who doesn't need the woman's attention is more attractive than the one chasing it. The leader who doesn't need followers is followed most intensely. Machiavelli understood that the prince who appears to need his subjects' love is subject to them. The prince who is complete without it rules them. Application. In every interaction where you're trying to influence, consciously detach from the outcome. Tell yourself, I'm fine either way. Mean it. This isn't a trick, it's a genuine internal shift. When you approach conversations, negotiations, or relationships with true outcome independence, your energy changes. You become more present, less manipulative, paradoxically, more influential. The final warning: this only works if it's real. You can't fake outcome independence. If you're pretending not to care while desperately caring underneath, people will sense the incongruence. This has to be built from genuine abundance, options, and self-sufficiency.
Cultivate a life where you genuinely don't need any single outcome. That's when your charisma becomes truly dangerous.
Silent charisma isn't a technique. It's a state of being. You can't perform your way into it with tricks and tactics. You have to become the kind of man who doesn't need to speak to be heard, who doesn't need to move to command attention, who doesn't need validation to know his value. This takes time. It takes internal work. It takes building a foundation so solid that your presence alone becomes undeniable. Most men will never get here. They'll spend their lives talking louder, trying harder, chasing approval that never satisfies. They'll wonder why charisma eludes them while they're doing everything the books say. Because the books are wrong. Charisma isn't performed, it's radiated. And it's radiated by men who've done the work to become gravitational forces, not through what they do, but through what they no longer need to do. The truly dangerous man doesn't influence people. He simply exists in a way that makes influence inevitable. That's the difference between power and performance. One is real, the other is exhausting. Choose which one you want to be, and then become it so completely that words become optional. Because when you're truly powerful, silence says everything.